Welcome to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Mike.
My name is Ray.
I'm back, guys. I'm back.
Yes, you are. Temporarily.
The baby Metroid is hatched. She is no longer in captivity. And I just assumed video games kind of stopped for like 4 or 5 weeks while I was caring for her. So, like, you know, let's kind of...
They did.
Let's like video games, like let's have them happen again. Is that? Can we do that?
We pay for Steam sales with bullets now. Things got weird.
Oh God, that's some Metro 2033 shit right there.
Yeah, it got weird.
But just remember, the bullets can do more damage, so don't just use them as currency because that people forget that, you know. People forget that.
Okay, I probably really need to play this game because this conversation sounds great.
Stan, have you not played Metro 2033?
No.
Oh, well, you have access to my library. Fix that.
I'll probably fix that. Well, I just can we start this off by saying what games we're playing?
Yeah, we can talk about the games we're playing. I'm playing a little gem right now called Tap Tycoon. Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah, I just downloaded it literally, for
Josh,
me it's the morning.
You've never talked about Tap Tycoon before.
Well, it's an idle game. It's a tapping game on your phone. And you tap the screen and you get money and then the numbers go up. And then
I'm playing it right now as we speak.
Do the numbers get smaller or bigger?
No, Mike, the numbers always get bigger.
Until you buy something, then they get substantially smaller.
But then that makes your numbers go up faster, so it's okay. And then,
it's not a smart person's game. Can we say that out loud?
Don't ask how much playtime I've put into Tap Tycoon.
Oh, I'm asking the real question. How much money have you spent on it?
It's more than zero. It's more than zero on this free-to-play clicker on my phone.
That's the wrong answer, in my opinion.
Josh,
you've already fucked up.
How does it feel to be the first Tap Tycoon whale?
I am not the first Tap Tycoon whale because I've gone down the rabbit hole of going onto the Tap Tycoon subreddit, and there are some.
What? Why does that exist?
There are.
Oh my God!
The higher you get into the game, there are strategies for maximizing your business profit and your tap profit so that you can prestige faster, and then you gain a world so you're like earning double the income, and you have to like there are strats for the cards that you can buy. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I can't talk about this.
I was not ready for the Tap Tycoon
ridiculous.
I've fallen down the rabbit hole a lot.
It's not.
You know what's really upsetting is the best golden card in the game came into my shop for me to buy, and I was like, oh, I need to buy some diamonds so I can buy this later, and I meant to do it, and then I forgot, and I was really pissed off because I could really use that card.
It's like you missed the Gallarhorn or something the only weekend they sold it. Oh
yep.
God, this is horrible.
It can come back around eventually, but who knows when? So, let's not talk about Tap Tycoon anymore.
Okay, so I'm playing Tap Tycoon today because you wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. So
Stan, I got some hot strats to send you. Don't worry.
Please don't.
Once you get up high too, I'll invite you to my investment group. But you have to be a wealth index of 50 first, so you better get your scrub ass up.
My apologies. It's a game I've been playing for like the past month. Also, was Tap Titans, which is made by the same company. It's kind of the same concept as Tap Tycoon. The UI is actually also very similar. That's why I'm saying Tap Tycoon is just another clicker to me. Neither of which I've spent any money in because. Not that I don't say, these companies shouldn't earn money, but I would feel dirty spending money in a clicker game. See,
here's the thing. You do the first time, but then after that you feel less dirty each and every time you make a purchase.
And the numbers go faster.
And they go up higher and bigger. Stand them up to BE money. BE money! It's unreal!
BE standing for bitchin' earnings money.
Fuck yeah.
Speaking of other games, I downloaded Fire Emblem Birthright just to have something to play on travels, and on my computer right now is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I'll give more updates to those games once I play them a little bit more.
I as someone who really liked Awakening, you should tell me if Birthright is good. Because I haven't.
Supposedly, Birthright takes a lot of the best parts of Awakening and refines them a little bit, but
well, Awakening was super good, so I'm down for that. Tell us
Awakening
more.
is like the only game that had a dating minigame mechanic that I really, really got hard into. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna match these two people up because when I match them up and they marry, they're gonna have a fucking powerful kid.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem. Is like that's the dark secret of Awakening. Is that you have to you have your all these people would be so adorable together instincts combined with like your eugenics instincts. So it's like, oh god, but you can't have the barbarian with the just making another barbarian.
Oh, he was single in my game.
Because then the stats, then you don't get the cross bonus. See, that like the archer person with like the mate, it gets bad. If you think about it for more than like
me a monster.
If you think about it for more than like 5 seconds beyond like just lol shipping, then it's just like, oh fuck, this is actually horrible.
That's almost as bad as Pokemon breeding, which is yet another dark rabbit hole.
Yeah.
No, this is worse because it's people.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, with Pokemon breeding, I mean, like, it's the same as, like, dog breeding, when you really think about that. And if society as a whole doesn't have a problem with dog breeding, no one really has a problem with dog breeding. When you're actually in the game saying, I want these two people to have sex to have extremely powerful Uberkind, because that's exactly what it is.
It gets weird.
So far you haven't said any. So far you haven't said anything alarming. So I don't see the problem.
I love it. By the way.
All right. We should talk about.
So can I redeem myself?
Yes, you can.
Oh.
I've been playing another video game. It's a little better than Tap Tycoon.
AM2R?
No, it goes by the name Doom.
Oh.
I've been playing some Doom.
Yes.
I've also
Doom is great.
some Doom.
Doom is excellent.
Doom is pretty darn doomy and pretty
it's
good.
Fucking excellent. Now, I'm only about maybe hour and a half, 2 hours in. And I know this has been said a lot, but man, Doom Guy does not like demons.
Nope.
He very much enjoys killing the shit out of demons all the time, always, and I find that quite enjoyable.
It's hilarious.
I think it's better.
It's hilarious how actively plot averse that game is. It's like, oh look, here's some back like dialogue happening, and just rips the TV off the wall.
Doom Guy ain't got time for that shit.
It's like, fine, thank you. We don't need this Doom Guy.
I just want to run around really fast and blow shit up in an awesome fashion. What's so wrong with that?
In the first 10 seconds of the game, you wake up in a sarcophagus, you look around, you don't ask any questions. First thing you see, demon coming towards you, rip off an iron chain somehow, grab the demon by the skull and destroy it, rip off the other chain, grab a gun, and say go time. Remember, you don't say anything, you just start killing demons. Doom Guy is just... He's just like, the fuck? You can almost hear this. The fuck is this? Is that a demon? Oh! Let me out!
The first 10 minutes of that game were just like, oh man, like, okay. I like this.
He never speaks either. I don't
know
if that's a spoiler warning or not, but he never says a single word throughout the entire game.
Now, as somebody who didn't really play the original Doom or even any of those original like Doom, Duke Nukem, Quake style first-person shooters when I was younger, except for
you fucked up.
I did have a about a year ago. I had a friend who listens to this show. Shout out to Mark. He actually we sat down with an Xbox and went through and played a bunch of those old games and like went through that progression and could see the first-person shooter genre evolving during that time period. It was really fascinating, very eye-opening, but as somebody who didn't play those games, this game still really speaks to me. Like, you don't have to just be a fan of Doom to really, really, really enjoy this game.
Yeah, I agree.
I can imagine... I was going to say, I imagine being a fan of Doom is just icing on the cake.
Exactly. Like, I saw, like, all my Doom experience is basically just, like, the Chex Master Quest. that I could.
Chex
I
Master Quest.
Yeah, like
Wow.
okay, I was like, man, this shit's pretty good. But yeah,
Wow.
I think I'm right there with you, Josh. Like, it's just so refined in how just like straightforward it is. It's just all about like just the raw execution of it, and it feels just so good. Like everything is just it's so smooth. It controls great. Like it just feels so good to just like. Oh, man, it just feels good, and the music is.
Well, and there aren't a lot of first person.
Like,
yeah, the music.
I need to take a break after like
so good.
after the intensity. I'm like too amped up. I'm like, yeah, it's great. That game.
But
really
you know,
good.
so many shooters these days are so afraid to have such quick movement and turn speeds because they're afraid, especially because a lot of them are developing with controllers and console players in mind. But like. That raw movement speed and the way you move through that environment is just it's not like anything that's really out there right now, and it's really refreshing. I really like playing that fast. Now, you know, people will say, you know, there are lots of games that you can get to that point by adjusting stuff, but this game right out the bat just like boom, no, we're at this fucking 800 speed, like let's go. Get out there and kill some shit.
Guy runs at approximately 60 miles per hour. Approximately. I think in the very first Doom game, like for PC, if you actually were to take how fast he would move on the screen and you converted that into the units of measurement for the game, it actually was about 60 miles per hour.
That's amazing.
So I think they kept that same relative speed in this game, because that guy books. Like, when you're fighting a bunch of demons, he's just running across all over the map. You're jumping. You can eventually get a double jump. You're just grabbing ledges. You're just ripping things off. And it's just, in the words of Angry Joe, a ballet of destruction. If you were to picture yourself looking at it from a third-person view, you're just seeing this crazy green blur just shooting and ripping limbs off of demons. I love that game.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play more of that game.
Can't wait to talk about the ending with you guys when you finally do it.
We'll get there. It's definitely, and it was very, you know, I think we talked about this previously, but it was one of those games that a lot of people were not expecting anything out of.
Yeah.
And yet, this fucking masterpiece is right here in front of us, and thankfully we're getting a chance to finally play it. So I'm very excited.
Well, I had like several missteps along the way. One of the missteps was they released the beta and no one liked it, like the multiplayer beta, because no one anymore plays Doom for the multiplayer. They also did not have any pre-release codes for any professional reviewers. Yeah. They're just like, nah, just play this game on day of.
Recently it's like when you don't do that, it's generally correlates with your game not being very good.
It generally signals to folks that the developer is not very confident in the product that they're about to release. So
also the box art for Doom for this magnificent game is just awful. It's this piss yellow box of just Doom Marine standing there with a shotgun. Not even in a dynamic pose, he's just standing there. Granted, the original Doom box art was just the words Doom going across the title, but that kind of was better than just this stock bog standard box art. Yeah. So there was a lot of concerns at first, and then the game comes out and everyone says, oh, never mind. This was one of the greatest first-person shooters ever released.
It's really good. It's super
All right,
good.
Moving on.
Hey, Mike, you want to talk about any other shooters that are happening in your life?
Yes,
oh boy.
As the Destiny field reporter, I would like to give you the Rise of Iron update, because that happened.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's just lay out the basics here. This one is only available for the PS4 and Xbox One, so they've officially sliced off the last gen support with Rise of Iron. It adds it adds some new storyline stuff. It adds a new area. Numbers go up higher. There's new stuff to look at. There's new colors of things. There's new multiplayer stuff. So it's a pretty. It's not quite a comprehensive.
Are there any new pre-order bonuses?
Yes. There may or may not have been a pre-order bonus.
Oh, good.
And it may or may not have been the most like player bait like pre-order bonus possible because it's.
I just want you to remember really quickly too, not that that the pre-order bonus was for skin, for weapon that a lot of people had to go find, and that so many people will now have this skin that the actual raw version of the weapon is probably the more rare and unique one than the one that's supposed to be the skin that's supposed to identify you as a unique player. Just let that sink in for a minute.
Wait, are you talking about Galahorn?
Yes.
Just let it sink in.
I don't know if Josh knew this or not, but Galahorn was removed from the game.
Yeah, that's
why.
This is the year 3 version of the Galahorn.
Yeah.
So it's and it's just technically it's not just the skin. It's I dismantled the other Galahorn because I didn't really care about having the original one because infusing weapons is stupid in Destiny. So that all.
You dismantled the legendary?
Or an exotic? Yes, I did. Because
exotic, I'm sorry.
I dismantled the standard Galahorn. This is stupid. Who cares? Basically, it's not as comprehensive of an update to Destiny as like the Taken King was. But so far, I think as like the stopgap is like a kind of is not a great word for it. I think that's a little more negative. But I think it's a pretty good kind of it's a good last piece of content for Destiny 1. I think it adds just enough it adds just enough value to some of the core parts of Destiny that it makes it worth doing a lot of those activities. I haven't yet done the raid, but I hear really good things about it and say it's a very good raid. A lot of the other missions and stuff are really good, so it's just a good last bit of piece of content, and I think that they're planning to, in next spring bring back a lot of older raids that haven't gotten a lot of attention and no one's really had a good reason to do for a while. So that stuff is coming. So generally, it's been pretty good. So yeah, if you're playing Destiny and you want to play more Destiny, you should probably go ahead and get that.
So, for me, the person that gave up back in year 1, because obvious, what in Rise of Iron would make me want to come back to it? Like,
yeah,
what features?
I have to ask because I thought I heard that it was a $30 expansion. Like, is it?
It is $30. They're all $30.
Really worth that $30 for that amount of content on the eve of Destiny 2?
That's a good question. I mean, it wouldn't be. I think the answer to that question is if you aren't really someone who does a lot of raiding in Destiny, is honestly probably not. I mean, I have a group of people that I can pretty easily group up with for raids. So that I can get a lot of like runs out of that and do all like the bonus challenges and stuff there. So if you're purely playing Destiny as a single player experience, first of all, why are you playing Destiny? And second of all, it probably wouldn't be. You probably wouldn't get a lot of value out of it. But like I said, I think it's a good. I think it adds just enough to kind of justify that price tag, just in terms of the value it adds to some of the other activities within Destiny that really needed reasons to care about them. So I think it has enough kind of general quality of life kind of stuff in it to make it worth it for people who are looking for the last like kind of shot in the arm of Destiny before 2 rolls around. And I'll let you guys know when I get to that raid how it is. Again, I think I've heard pretty good stuff about it. But again, at this point, And kind of my going through it, and this is kind of a good point to launch into our next topic here. You're really starting to kind of see the seams and kind of the limits of the framework that they have for Destiny 1, which is why I'm really excited about some reports that are coming out in regards to Destiny 2. Just to hit a couple of those highlights, it sounds like it's really going to be restructuring from the ground up. Maybe not, really limiting in terms of what elements of your character carry over, coming to PC. Lots of I think I'll cast this out to you guys. Just as someone who's been playing a lot of Destiny, and has gotten pretty attached to my character, I am super okay with them just if the only thing I get to carry over is like my basic appearance, done. I'm in. Like Destiny is a great game where it is right now, but it's just so wonky in so many just weird ways.
So as somebody who doesn't play Destiny, I have mixed feelings about it. Mostly positive, because as somebody who may very well get into Destiny 2 if it does come to PC, that makes me feel a lot better knowing that I'm not going to be so far behind the curve just because I'm picking it up on a platform that's brand new, because, I guess, everybody on the PC would be starting from the same spot, but if they were to do something where, you have your Bungie account and your character moves to whatever new one you have, then you might be behind the curve there. And I don't know, they don't have crossplay, do they, or anything like that?
No,
no
there's no crossplay. So. But and I think you're right, Josh, especially because kind of with this new piece of DLC, they also put out that like Destiny the Collection, which is everything in Destiny for $60, like Taken King, Rise of Iron, everything before it, all for $60, which is it's really cool that they did that. But imagining someone coming into Destiny just completely blind. And obviously it's like easy these days to like go find the Reddit or go find the Bungie forums and stuff like that. But there's just so much weird ass shit in that game that it's just as someone like coming into it, it's just like what? Like how does any of this shit work?
I have a couple like problems and benefits to Destiny. Like I haven't played since October 23rd, 2014. That's when I put Destiny down. I was doing a nightmare raid against that Cyclops guy with the big eye, and he's part of the Hive. Fode, whatever. I was doing a nightmare raid with some coworkers, and then, a nightmare raid is extremely difficult, and we were stuck in it for like 2 hours, and I discovered, wait a minute, this isn't fun or entertaining at all. Like, I said this on the mic to my team, like, we've literally been struggling to kill this boss, which is purposely difficult. All of us are at max level, and there's like nothing more we can do besides try to game the system to try to kill him. So I put it down. I never went back. So I would be I'm like one of the groups of people who's like, oh, you nuked my character for Destiny 2? I don't care. I'll probably give Destiny 2 a try if you nuke my character. But also, this kind of goes counter to what Activision had announced and Bungie had announced for Destiny, which was it's a 10-year project. Well, and if every couple of years they start nuking characters and making you restart, that kind of defeats the purpose of the 10-year project. I was going to
say, it's kind of them abandoning their original vision for the game and what they had been saying out there. They'd originally talked about how it was going to be this massive story that you're telling personally about your character and your gear and how you went on this epic raid to find this piece of gear and how everything was so personal and tied to you and how you would have that story behind you. And to say that you're going to just have the
to have that kind of homogenized into like when they have to like reboot the mechanics every time could be a little frustrating. I think that's a very legitimate concern.
Now, I mean, let's be we all kind of know that the original vision of Destiny has changed a lot just because of the botched release and them trying to really fix the problems of original vanilla Destiny. So I don't think anybody was really under the impression that they were still really like going to hold to that, but it's still one of those things where you're like, it's unfortunate to see them getting away from that more, regardless.
It's kind of by necessity.
Yeah,
at this point,
I'm not saying that it's not a bad thing, but it's still kind of like, I really want to see I still want to see the Destiny that they originally had. Now they still have they have plenty of years left, so they may be able to correct course with Destiny 2 and start from there, and the rest of the 7 or 8 years hold on to that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there, just because I think, like, I mean, I'm really attached to, I'm like, I have some really cool gear. I have that's I have my build I like, and but just from the ground up, like, and just in how in terms of that game is like structured with the missions, the world, the abilities, the quests, the weapon like crafting, all that stuff. Like, if they have to like basically blow up my inventory and just let me carry over like my character's appearance, my like grimoire score or whatever, and a couple of shaders, to give me a Destiny that structurally is just so much, much more like player friendly, and it's just like more fun and more seamless, I make that trade 10 out of 10. Like, that's absolutely, I think that's the correct course of action, is just to, because when they can make a game that's just, you don't have to fight the game as much to actually like
have
enjoy
fun.
it. Like, exactly. So because half the time it's like, well, I have to
you have to work to have fun at the game. Seems like a pretty bad game to me.
Yeah, exactly. So if them just really kind of going back to the drawing board with almost everything mechanically in that game. I mean, obviously, I think the actual feel of the game is great. Like, it feels like
feels good to shoot.
think it's one of the best console shooters, just period. Like, it just feels so good. I think a lot of the powers are really fun. Just the movement feels great. So that kind of core mechanical stuff I think is great. But if they need to like just completely blow up how they do that and are able to make the game just way more fun and just way more seamless in the process with Destiny 2, like, go for it. And I think the big one I saw that them potentially discussing too was rebooting, or like doing a kind of a soft reboot on the story, which is a little interesting, just because, I mean, narratively, if you go through Destiny, like if you go through that Destiny the Collection, I mean, it's the story. There's a lot of really cool story and lore in Destiny, but just the way it's actually told is just not good.
There's a lot of isn't that the definition of Destiny as a whole? It's like there's a really, really great idea here, but god damn, is the execution awful.
Yeah, and that's the kind of the thing. It's like, I'm worried. I'm really curious to see like what kind of changes they end up making there, just because they have like really great lore and just a really cool world built around it. So I hope that they don't do too much to just completely blow that up, because I think all that stuff is great. But
I don't have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
Shit like that, exactly.
I will never forgive you for that, Bungie, ever.
That's shitty writing. So hopefully they can fix some of that stuff while keeping the lore intact. And again, I'm really curious to see what this game looks like on PC. Like, will PC players get my ultimate pipe dream for PC is for them to get some like carry some Destiny 1 content over to like Destiny 2.0 version. I think that would be super cool.
I think they should, but I don't think they will.
I wouldn't be
there's
surprised.
no point.
Just like structurally, I mean, because structurally, like Destiny 2 might be really different from Destiny 1. So it's like,
I hope it is, because
how much of that stuff would even make sense in Destiny? Like, it could be too whack. Like,
well, hell, I mean,
let's keep this in mind that in Destiny 1, there is no looking for group system when you want to do a raid. Can we just talk about how that's like? Well, not even just a raid, like the weekly strikes. There's no looking for group system.
The tools for that entire game were fucked from the beginning. I mean, you remember hearing stories about how when they would want to load a level in the level editor, it would take an hour to load. It would take like hours for it to load out of the level editor before they could even start working on it. You know, they had a lot of just systemic problems with that game, not just the fact that they didn't deliver on what they want. Like, that game was fucked in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so like that kind of point, and just all the other stories that you hear about the weird ass development behind that game is why I'm really okay with them. Just, I mean, Destiny has gotten so much better, as in my understanding, since vanilla, to where it is now. So for them to not have that baggage, they don't have to worry about building for the 360 or anything like that. They can just really go from the ground up with what they learned, and it's going to be on PC. Like, I think that's pretty sweet.
Mod support. Needed some mod support.
So should we talk about another game with a lot of expectations that kind of let people down that could really use a refresh right now?
You know,
Video
your segues
games.
just get better. Your segues are like a fine wine. They're just getting better with age, sir.
I think parenting it's suiting me well. You know, it's maturing me.
Oh wow! And then you lost it just like that. Anyways, moving on to the guy that abandoned Twitter. Can we just talk about Sean Murray? I think I said last podcast and the podcast before that also that he used to be hyper active on Twitter. Like, that was the game dev. You could just like read his Twitter timeline and just start learning about what his thoughts are on this game that he's working on, No Man's Sky, by the way. And ever since a week after the game came out, his last tweet saying, "We are focused on customer service, but we will worry about features later once we get done with customer service," something like that. After he said that tweet on August 18th, fucking gone.
Yeah,
I think he's just up and left Twitter, which I'll be honest, probably for the best.
Yeah, nobody really has been talking from Hello Games, as you assume have been trying to frantically work to fix the game. And there's been a lot that have come out about No Man's Sky in the last few weeks. There was I forget who it was at PlayStation, at Sony, who came out and said, you know, they're an indie dev, you know, maybe
the fucking CEO, Yohei Yoshida.
Yeah, Yoshida, which I think was a bullshit move, but we don't really need to talk about that. That was...
No, we should... No, hold on. Back the fuck up. I've been talking about this for months. We should talk about how Sony admitted at first, hey, we are backing them like one of our first party projects. We're going to throw marketing money at them like you wouldn't believe. They're getting on different talk shows like the Colbert Report.
Here's the thing. Then they should have taken some ownership for that instead of saying, I don't know, they're an indie dev. Like, that's fucked up.
That part is bullshit. The part before where they're like, no, we're going to treat them like a fine game, and then throwing them under the bus and saying, well, I don't know, I guess they just kind of fucked up this game. They didn't have a PR department.
It's the worst kind of damage control. Oh, do I need to go grab my box and see if it says I have multiplayer on it or not? I'll be right back. Hold on.
Yeah, do that.
All right. Exploratory journey.
Yeah, go do that real quick. Oh, Mike doesn't know how to use the mic.
I feel he's probably like... Sean Murray used to be in the fucking limelight, and now he's kind of exited from all communication of the internet.
Well, I think they're in a lot of damage control right now, but the reason we're talking about this specifically is all the stuff that has happened. Yesterday it was announced that an advertising watchdog agency is now investigating Hello Games
The
and No
Advertising
Man's Sky.
Standards Authority of UK.
Yep, they're advertising. They're investigating them for false advertising claims, which they do. They do. You know, you hear about some of these watchdog groups, and they do advertise. They do. God damn it! I keep saying advertisement. They do investigations and whatnot. And they don't really have a lot of teeth. Now, this organization actually has power to levy changes and sanctions against organizations if they do find fault in their practices. So they are looking into whether or not Hello Games used deceitful advertising practices to bolster sales of No Man's Sky, which is huge, and could not just have impact for people who bought No Man's Sky, possible class action lawsuit, but I think could really send some ripples through the gaming industry and the way that game publishers market their games in general.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just as a sidebar, my box does in fact say it is a single-player game.
Okay.
Good to know. But yeah,
I think the multiplayer label was only on the Latin American versions, and then they quickly tried to sticker that shit up.
Aha! Now we know.
By the way, still shady as fuck. No, shady as fuck.
Yeah, I think you're right, Josh. Like with how, I mean, because games have been kind of on the slope, like going all the way back to like the Killzone stuff, like all those. Like that long time ago, with like showing that, and then this is such on a smaller scale, but like the Witcher 3, like quote downgrade unquote controversy. So I mean, things like that have been like there's been a weird kind of brew about this, like misrepresentation of games by people who want you to buy their game, which I mean, like you kind of have to take what they show you as with a grain of salt, but
you don't hear a lot anymore about the Witcher 3 downgrade issue because that game was so well received and people kind of forgot about that downgrade because of how good that game was.
And I think
also, like CD Projekt Red just constantly gives you free shit in that game.
Yeah, they're
free DLC.
Incredible developer.
And I think, like, more importantly, they were very upfront saying, this is not the final product. Like, I mean, No Man's Sky, like, it obviously was. We are under the assumption that, one can assume that a gameplay trailer that we see in 2014, things are going to change. But when you say a gameplay trailer, and the real gameplay does not look like the gameplay trailer, then
not even a little bit.
And there's no indication of this is pre-alpha footage. Like that's not in the video.
Well, and they haven't even taken that trailer down from their Steam page. That trailer that they put out for E3 with all the shit that's not in the game is still up there as an advertisement for the game on their Steam page, and that's just that's not okay. That's not okay. And
can we all agree that the game just doesn't look like that?
No,
at all.
And I don't think that's up for debate.
I think the advertising agency, I think they're gonna rule in the consumer's favor on this one. I do not think that. I don't know how that exactly works, but I have a feeling that a decision is going to come back and saying yes, Hello Games and No Man's Sky use deceitful tactics in their advertisement, because I don't see how you could say they didn't at a certain point.
Yeah, there's
I'm sorry.
There's a difference between
being cheeky.
Like being coy and then being like, is there multiplayer? Oh well, it's such an exciting it's and having that kind of blurred line. It's at a certain point you have to understand that when you have a responsibility when you're communicating when you have such a broad audience Like you have to be held to a higher standard. So, you know, it's the difference between, you know, no offense to us because we're not a very super popular podcast. It's different when I say something stupid versus someone who gets millions of downloads a day, a week. Like just that platform that they have, it naturally demands a much higher responsibility, and your words have, you know, they have a greater power because of that. So for them, at a certain point, that coyness, it isn't really passable because you're not hitting that standard. You know, not everybody can read between. Not everyone gets that you're actually an indie developer when you're on, you know, the Sony E3 stage for 8 minutes. No one actually knows that. Some people, you know, might not know that you're actually, you know, a team of 8 people. You know,
15.
We don't know
whatevs. Well, he wasn't like. So here's the problem. Here's what the what is it the Advertising Standards Authority is actually looking into. Let's get to the nitty gritty. All right.
Break it down.
Things up for investigation. The user interface of the video. Yeah, that doesn't look like the game. The ship flying behavior, as in a pop-up indicating that your wingman is flying with you. And as we all know, there's no multiplayer in this goddamn game. So what wingman? Behavior of the animals in the game, as in they would destroy scenery, they would react to water, and they would react to their surroundings and other animals. All right, that doesn't happen at all. Large-scale space combat. Pretty much the reason I just didn't get the game. I can't use my flight stick because there's no large-scale space combat. Mike, are you dancing? Are you?
No.
Okay. Structures and buildings as pictured, obviously. You're so fucking dancing.
I'm sorry. I went to a tequila dinner, okay?
He really gets behind standards bodies investigating groups for infringements against consumers. It just really gets him going.
Gonna regulate you.
This one pisses me off. Trade convoys and factions vying over territory. Totally not in the game.
That does not sound like anything close to No Man's Sky.
So I think they're going to get everything that they have coming to them if they actually get in trouble. Not that I want them to get, like... Actually, yeah, I think No Man's Sky deserves a bit of a lawsuit at this point. A small one.
I mean, yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's you know, at the end of the day, you know, I don't want to take anyone's bread away. Like, congratulations to them. They sold a lot of copies of their game. That's great. But it's just hard to not look at that. Look at the production on some of those early trailers that said that they were gameplay, and just look at the game and just not feel that disconnect. And it's just, you know.
Someday somebody's gonna write a book about what happened, and I cannot wait.
I hope it's Sean Murray himself.
That's gonna be that's a juicy tell-all. That's like up there with the Destiny tell-all. Like
maybe someday when he's out of contract with Sony, he'd just be like, "All right, guys, I gotta level with you. Like, shit was fucked up. Here's what happened. I'm sorry."
It in a week.
Here's what happened. I didn't know how to shut my mouth and not Peter Molyneux this game. Full stop.
See,
that's the book. It's like 3 sentences.
Now, if you had told me that it's at the middle of No Man's Sky is actually Black and White 3, now see, that would have been something, because Black and White's amazing. That's such a good game. But if you just tell me it's like, oh, now you just watch the cutscene and you go back to the beginning. Like, no, that's dumb. I'm sorry.
Oh, can we talk about when you get to how much he hyped getting to the center of the galaxy, and it's just a new game fucking plus?
Yeah.
Fuck this
It's
game.
times like these when it's unfortunate that the listeners cannot see the video feed, because, man, we pulled some good faces just now of just long smiles and shrugs and shaking our head.
I might play some more of this game, you know. I need to. It's like a good podcast game. I mean,
That game is one of the reasons why I bought the PS4. I'll be honest, because the gameplay trailer hooked me. I was a fool.
Well, hey, you can still play Bloodborne on your PS4.
Enjoy your No Man's Sky box, Stan.
That's all you need is just it's your Bloodborne Uncharted box and Destiny. That's all you need.
I mean, I had I still have Destiny. It's just not no. But yes, Bloodborne. Bloodborne's still good.
Bloodborne's so fucking good.
Let's move on to. Let's put a little politics into our video game world.
Our last topic for the evening. Not much to be said about this. Just
let's talk about some true dumbassery.
Royal fuck up. Right around the time that the presidential debate is heating up here in the United States of America, and the presidential debates were in full swing, it was released that Palmer Luckey, the boy genius, quote unquote, behind Oculus Rift, had donated $10,000 to an organization that was dedicated to basically memeing Donald Trump to the presidency. Getting on the internet, getting in real life, using memes to try and disrupt the Democratic nominee and get Donald Trump elected president. Basically using R the Donald and 4chan to spur the internet behind one of the most talked about presidential candidates in a long time. And people were not happy in the slightest.
Regardless of your thoughts on Donald Trump, and I have many thoughts on Donald Trump, finding out that like one of the creators of Oculus Rift is throwing what's potentially money of that you kickstarted towards him, or money that you spent on Oculus towards trying to get this guy in the presidency via toxic memes, is, well, you know, he can do whatever the fuck he wants with his money. It's his money.
It's a free country. You're allowed to support
it is a
your
free
candidates.
country.
And
you're also allowed to support what you spend your money towards, and some people are just choosing not to work with Oculus now.
And if you look at what you spend money on regularly, if you really look into it, you probably support plenty of things you don't actually like or get behind, and that's just called working in a economy such as the one we do. You can do your best to try and avoid those, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to do that. But I would have the same problem with this if he were donating to the same kind of organization that was supporting the Clinton campaign. It's not that I don't think public figures should or shouldn't have political opinions or support political candidates or make that known. It's the way that he did it. It's the memeing kind of organization and getting behind such a toxic group of people that really bothers me. It's one thing to donate to a normal Donald Trump super PAC or whatever. It's another to donate to an organization basically dedicated to shit posting and being terrible.
Yeah, like shit posting, brigading, generally people who are not interested in appreciation of their fellow man in all shapes and sizes. It's just, you know, that's like you said, Josh, that's what bothers, you know, this is different than like a, well, hot take, not that different from just like a donation to like the RNC, but aligning yourselves with
hot take indeed.
with, I mean, like the Donald, which is, you know, full of people who are,
they're swell humans.
They're the deplorables, you know, as remarked by a certain Democratic candidate. So to, and so I think for him to do this and then all of a sudden be confused as to, you know, why people are being so critical of Oculus, like that's the kind of thing you kind of have to understand, because, you know, technically he's not part of the company anymore, but he's still the face of Oculus. Like if people see Palmer Luckey post on, Reddit saying he can, normies can take their non-racist Pepes elsewhere, yeah, they still associate that with Oculus.
Yep, and there have actually been several game developers who have come out and said that they are moving their development from Oculus to either the PlayStation VR or to the Vive. There was one I heard that said they would donate 24 hours of their sales to Hillary's campaign. You're hearing a lot of stories about people trying to get themselves away from Oculus, and hot on the heels of them getting ready to release the Oculus Touch. This is not great timing for it's great timing for PlayStation VR and the Vive, but it's not great timing for Oculus.
Yeah, and you also have to look at their, I'm sure they're kind of kicking themselves because they have such a closed, they've been really chasing a lot of these exclusives. They've been really kind of trying to push themselves as a platform more than a singular device.
Yeah.
So to have this kind of, I don't think a lot of people quite grasp how bad it's going to look being associated with Donald Trump and the seedier elements of reaches of the internet that are campaigning for him, whether or not they're old enough to vote. We don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting point.
I'll be very interested.
I think that's really
going
to hurt people in a couple of years.
Oculus tries to get away from this.
Mm-hmm.
They've already made a statement saying he no longer works at the company formally, so his actions don't affect Oculus. But when the creator of the product is, he even said he released a public Facebook post saying that
the biggest
he's sorry.
non-apology I've ever read. But continue.
Yeah, he's like, by the way, listen, guys, I actually am going to vote for Gary Johnson this election. I just thought that this group was kind of cool, and they had interesting messages to get to the younger voters.
Well,
it's like,
that's
no,
not how that works. You can't just
at all.
It's not,
yeah.
No.
Oh, I just donated $10K because I didn't know what it was, and it sounded kind of cool. But I don't know.
I like a spicy meme as much as the next guy, but come on, really.
There's a limit.
Come on.
I would actually be really, really cool with this and not have a problem with it if he just said, yeah, I donated $10,000 to the Donald Trump campaign because I want to vote for him. I have many, many, many negative words to say about Donald Trump, but if someone has their own money and they're like, yeah, I want to donate money to this president, I actually would have no problem to it. It's the way this guy went about it. It's just like, oh, fuck you.
I was half expecting you in that, Josh, when you mentioned that he was actually voting for Gary Johnson, to say, I wanted to make it clear that I'm actually going to be voting for Harambe for president in 2016. And I was just like,
God damn.
There it is.
Man.
Okay, packing up, time to go home. All right. No more internet for the rest of the week. Okay.
Can you imagine if that was his official apology? He just went full bore meme with it. And he was like, yeah, guys, obviously I put 10K towards Nimble America, but can we all agree Harambe for president 2016? And
right?
that's the Facebook post. It stops right there.
Is the group called Nimble America?
It's called Nimble America.
Oh, my fucking God. I can't. We've got to end this podcast. I can't do this anymore. You
can't handle those nimble navigators.
I can't.
You can't handle the memes.
They're two curved hollow fangs. They're just going to get into me.
The Predator. Just sell your Pepes. The Pepe market's about to crash. Just sell.
This is kind of tech related. The Pepe meme is now classified as a hate symbol.
Good.
Did you guys read that?
I did.
No, I didn't, but good. Fuck them.
Good? Really, the Pepe Frog meme is a hate symbol? I think that's actually ridiculous.
It's something. It's kind of the internet. I kind of get it because it's like it's kind of a secretive way to like, hey, you kids like memes, check out these funny memes, and then it's a gateway thing. Like that's I kind of see it in that way. I'm like, okay, that's the connection there.
You know what?
So yeah, if you use Pepe memes, probably stop.
Good.
Like immediately.
PSA. You heard it here first. The more you know.
I personally think that it's ridiculous, but if you're going to tell me that the Pepe Frog meme is right there with the swastika, yeah, I'm not gonna. That's not a hill to die on. You know what I mean? I just don't care enough.
I have a sidebar. So,
Mike, your sidebar, and then I have another public service announcement.
Okay, so my secret dream someday is to be like the Mad Money Jim Cramer of memes. So it's
Go
like,
on.
okay, all right, okay, so
Go on.
all right, okay. First of all, Pepe. All right, breaking news today: Pepe is racist. Everybody, you know, okay, we want to. All right, so we want to hang on to our sports meme Pepes. So if you have a sad Knicks fan Pepe, keep that bad boy. If you have a generic Pepe, just sell it. It's not coming back. It's gonna tank. Reinvest in Dat Boy and Harambe. And I think we're due.
The Harambe memes are hot now.
And Harambe memes are basically like U.S. bonds now. It's just one of those things that always gains value over time.
The bonds are like Icon has cheeseburger, shoop de whoop. I don't know, Exodia, wipe animation.
Ship the Whoop's gonna make a comeback.
All right,
Ship the Whoop.
I'm ending this podcast. Public service announcement,
is
though.
Is Duck Roll the gold standard in this scenario?
No. What is the gold standard is the fact that unscripted gaming is now more places where you are. I know we mentioned a few podcasts ago we were on SoundCloud now outside of YouTube, but did you know we are now also on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music podcasts? So, and Pocket Casts. So, you probably use one of those. So go subscribe to us there, so you can take us with you in your pocket on the go, because you want to do that because you're beautiful people. And if you haven't already, subscribe here. Go to Facebook.com, Unscripted Gaming. Like us there. Twitter. At unscript_gaming. Follow us there. Keep current with all the shit we got going on. And Mike's memes, I guess.
I'll have an update next week.
We are not having Mike's meme minute. It's not happening. It's just not happening.
I actually would respect the Mike meme minute. Let's hurry up and get it out of the way before
Thanks
it gets
for listening to
banned as a hate
Unscripted
symbol.
Gaming. I understand that this is the last
Joseph
episode you ever
Decker
listened
coming
to.
back. You heard it
I'm
first.
Josh.
I'm Mike.
I'm Ray.
Peace.